This is Math 3, 1.3 notes. That's Unit 1, Lesson 3. And today we're writing equations and adding functions. Don't forget to fill this piece in for yourself. Okay, so we're adding functions, which means it could be adding and subtracting, because you can add negatives, which is equivalent to subtracting. All right, so what I'm going to do is start off here. We're going to find and simplify f of x plus g of x, and then sketch the addition of those two, the sum of the two. All right, so we're just simply going to add f of x plus g of x, so that's 2 minus x cubed plus x cubed plus x squared minus 3. I'm going to put them in parentheses, and I'll explain why. This is f of x, 2 minus x cubed. Here's the sum, the plus. Then all of this is g of x cubed plus x squared minus 3. And I put parentheses because if this had been a minus sign, I would have to distribute. And I just want to make sure you're aware that you distribute to the whole second piece here. Since it's an addition, you're just distributing a positive, which does not change anything, which means it is okay to drop the parentheses. You have to. Okay, because you're adding like terms. We distribute the positive, drop the parentheses, and we're going to combine like terms. This and that is like terms, and since they are the opposites, positive x cubed, negative x cubed, they undo each other. Y equals x squared is by itself, and then I have a positive 2 and a negative 3, which are also like terms. The x squared had no like terms. It stayed by itself, and then this is minus 1. So there's the sum, and then we're going to graph. Because there's no parentheses, there is no right or left movement. It's just down 1 from the origin. I look at the number in the front, it's up, it's a 1, so I'm going to go, and it's positive, up 1 over 1. I cannot do it again because it's not a straight line. Back here I go up 1 over 1, and then I make my curve. And I know it's curvy because it's an x squared function, a quadratic, and those are u shapes. Okay, next one. This time I'm going to subtract f and g. So instead of adding, I'm subtracting. So 1/2, and that's negative 1/2. The quantity of x plus 3 squared in parentheses minus in parentheses g of x, and g of x is negative 4. So here's my f function, here's my g function, and I'm subtracting the 2. Okay, there's nothing to distribute out here, so I'm going to drop negative 1/2 parentheses x plus 3 squared. And even if I wanted to, I cannot distribute that negative 1/2 because of that squared. So this is it. This is staying like that. Minus negative 4, that does change to a positive 4. And that's as far as I can go. This is what I'm going to graph. Negative 1/2 times the quantity of x plus 3 squared plus 4. Now this one I'm going to move left 3, up 4 from the origin. 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that was left 3, up 4. And my a value is negative 1/2, which I don't go down 1 over 2. This is not a line. It's only with absolute values and linear graphs, the ones that are straight lines, that I use slope, like up 1 over 2 or down 1 over 3. But this, I go down 1/2 over 1, down 1/2 over 1, and that's it. I cannot do it again. And then I make my curve because it's a parabola. Okay. Alrighty, moving on. Next one. Now we're back to compositions. F of g of x. We're going to take one and plug it into the other. F of g of x means f of, what is g? G is x plus 5. I'm just rewriting g as what it is. G of x equals x plus 5. I'm substituting it for what it equals. Then I'm going to take this and plug it into my f function. And my f function is 4 minus 2x squared. And wherever the x used to be, see where I put parentheses always, where the x used to be, I'm going to put in its spot x plus 5. Where that x used to be, I'm going to put in its place x plus 5. Now I cannot distribute again because there's a negative sign there. I cannot even subtract those because those are not like terms. If it was like that, 4 minus 2, sure. But the 2's attached to the x plus 5, so you cannot subtract them. but I am going to rewrite it, and we've had one like this last week, I believe. It was early on, and we rewrote it like this, where this comes first the way it should, and then that constant comes at the end. And it's plus 4 because it's positive here, and it's negative 2 because it's negative 2 there. And this is what we're going to graph. Left 5, up 4. From the origin, left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. I have my 3 lattice points, and I can't do it again because it's not a straight line, it is a curvy parabola. Okay, and I'm going to move on now to the back side, and the back side is review of writing equations. So this back part is review, but we've been doing these a while, and there've kind of been like a few here and a few there. We haven't really done them all in one place. So I'm going to write down what's what and how to figure out what to use. Okay, linear. A linear graph will always be y equals mx plus b. And I am going to fix that. So if you're using a pen, you will have to use a whiteout or scribble it out, because I forgot to put my x minus h and then plus k. Okay, that's your right-left movement, that's your up-down movement. The inside, we've done that before, is always right-left, the opposite. Outside is the same, and it goes up-down, up or down. Okay, and then I'm going to put here that m equals rise over run. All right, next one, absolute value. This is one whole one together. Okay, I know it looked like a different one because of that space. Okay, absolute value is y equals m absolute value x minus h close absolute value plus k. It looks just like that one, but instead of parentheses, it has the bars. And again, m equals rise over run. All right, what's nice about both of these, the linear and the absolute value, is those are the easiest ones. And they're super easy because it's just rise over run to find your m. It's these guys down here where you have to plug the point in to find the letter you're missing. But for these two, you do not. These two are easy. Find your right-left movement, find your up-down movement, find your slope, you're good to go. These guys require a little more work. Okay, so what do we do here? This is y equals a times the quantity of x minus h squared plus k. The h and the k we're going to always find by just figuring out how far we shift from our start, right 2 or left 2 or up 3 or down 3. That's where we're going to find our hk. Now here, how do we find a? We use the second point to find a. Okay, so this one, that's the one that requires a little more work. We use our second point to find a. Okay, next one, y equals, this is exponential, y equals b raised to the x minus h plus k. The x minus h is in the exponent. It won't always be in parentheses. I'm going to put in parentheses right now, but it won't always, but it will always be in the exponent. Okay, and the same as before, we use the second point to find b, because this time it's b. Oh, where's it at? There it is, to find b. We use our second point to find a, we use our second point to find b. Up here is super easy, it's just rise over run. All right, so this is exponential. We can tell by the way it looks. So let's write it down. Y equals, I don't know b, but I am going to figure out my h and k by the left-right movement. Okay, so y equals b raised to the x minus h plus k. Now remember, these guys are tricky because we start at 0, 1, not 0, 0. And that's where I figure out right, left, up, down. So from here to that start, because your start's always the lower point, the one further to the left. There's 2 of them. That's all. Your lower one's going to be your start. Okay, so from here I go right 1, 2. I'm going to write that down. Right 2. And let's see, 1, 2, and then down 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 4. Okay? From here to there, it was right 2, down 4. All right, so y equals, I don't know b yet because I haven't plugged in my second point, x minus 2 because it's always the opposite, and then plus 4 on the outside. Okay, it looks like this. Y equals b raised to the x minus 2, and then minus 4, sorry. Minus 4 because it goes down. All right, so I'm going to put a slight little bubble here. This is what my answer is going to look like. What do I have to do? I have to find b. And I find b by using the second point. What is that second point? It is, when I'm looking for an actual point, not its translation, I start from the origin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like it is 4, 5. All right, when I'm looking for an actual point to plug in, I count it as I would have back in middle school. I start from the origin and count right, left, up, down. Okay, so now I'm going to plug this in for y and this in for x right here. And I'll scooch over this way now. So 5 equals b raised to the x is 4 minus 2 and then minus 4. You see how that works? This is y is 5. X is 4, and then minus 2 is still there, and minus 4 is still there. 5 equals b squared minus 4. I'm going to add 4 to the other side. Minus 4 and positive 4 undo each other, and I end up with 9 equals b squared. And one of you had asked last week, what happens if it's not first power, it's second or third? And here's one of those. You square root both sides. And you don't do plus or minus because we're looking only for positive values here. B equals 3. You plug it right back in there, and that is your answer. Y stays y now because we're looking for the equation. Equals 3 raised to the x minus 2, and then minus 4. Again, the exponent, you don't need parentheses there. You should know there. It's kind of like it, but if you don't write it, it's okay. If you do write it, it's okay. If you see it and it's not there, it's okay. It's the same thing. All right, that's the answer for number 4. All right, next one's an easy one because it's linear. Pick your start. It does not matter which one you use. I'm going to write the equation down first. Y equals m, x minus h plus k. I'm going to pick this as my start for the first time. And from the origin, because it's back to a linear graph, from the origin I go left 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left 1, down 5. So y equals m parentheses x plus 1 because it's left 1, down 5, so it's minus 5. And then a linear graph, I find the m by simply doing rise over run. So count your rise over run to this point here. Go ahead and do that now. All right, I got 8 over 6, which reduces to 4 over 3 when you divide top and bottom. This here is where you get what your answer is going to look like after you found m. We just found it. We plug it in. Y equals 4/3 parentheses x plus 1 minus 5. And that there is your answer. Now, what if instead of this as your start point, you picked the other one? Let's check. If this is your start point from the origin, you'd go up 1, 2, let me do my right movement first. You'd go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1, 2, 3. Right 5, up 3. You would have y equals, your m is still going to be 4/3. If you go down 8 and left 6, it's still going to reduce to positive 4/3. 4/3 parentheses x, right 5 would be minus 5, up 3 would be plus 3. So both of these answers are correct. You do not need to write both of them. You can, but it's not necessary. They both are correct. All right, next one. Now, it's only with linear graphs that you can choose where's your start. That's the only one. Everything else has to have a start. Like here, your start's always the lower one or the one to the left. Here, it's always the vertex, the one to the left. The pointy piece, your vertex. That's true for everything except for a linear graph. The linear graph, you pick a point and it doesn't matter which one. Okay, quadratic, because it's a parabola. I'm going to write this one down right there. Y equals a, x minus h, quantity squared plus k. And because it's not exponential, I start at the origin and I go left 1, 2, 3 and down 1. Left 3, down 1. That's left 3, down 1. And I'm going to write it out. Y equals a parentheses x plus 3 because it's left 3 squared minus 1 because it's down 1. I'm going to bubble this in lightly. This is where my answer is going to go after I find a. I look up here. How do I find a? I use the second point. That's the vertex. I've used it already. That there is my second point. And when you're looking for your second point, remember you start at the origin because we're actually looking for a point. We're not looking for a translation. So from here to here, you go left 1 up 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like that point is -1, 4. All right, I plug it in and I find a. Once I find a, this is going to be my answer. Y equals, I'm going to actually plug in y. Y is 4. So 4 equals, a I don't know yet. X is -1 plus 3 squared minus 1. 4 came there from the y. A is still a. X is -1 plus 3 stayed plus 3 squared stayed minus 1 stayed. 4 equals a. -1 plus 3 is 2 squared minus 1. I'm going to clean that up. 4 equals a squared is 4. I'm going to write that like this. You could put a times 4, but it's the same as 4a. You're going to add the 1 to the other side. 5 equals 4a. Divide both sides by 4. And a equals 5/4. A equals 5/4. And now we're ready to plug it right up here where we put that bubble, and that there is our answer. Y equals 5/4 parentheses x plus 3 quantity squared minus 1. I know I took up all the workspace for number 8, but number 8 is super easy. I'm actually going to do that one with you here. Actually, no, we'll do these last 4 in class together. So remember, we're not turning this in yet. We're turning this one in class together. All right, that is it for this lesson.